But as you move along, you will find that there will be prompts and guidance in terms of where to go, what to do. It's like in the text, listen, follow, listen, hear, do, follow through. I've had to do that my whole life, and it does shake up the status quo. Initially, I think I did like a lot of people. I was so excited in the course groups. I started having so many miracles that I thought, Mom and Dad have to hear this. They have to hear this. And that was an interesting experience. The topic would get changed when I started talking about the miracles, and so the subject would get changed, breaking of eye contact, changing the subject. There was all kinds of clues until finally one day the biological mother, Evelyn, said, I already have a minister. That was a good, it's kind of like, I already have a minister. And then shortly after that came, you need to find other people to share this with. And it was like, I was like, that's the Holy Spirit coming through Mom. Yeah. That was exactly it. How does that relate to the Course? Jesus says, I direct the miracles, and I will tell you where to bestow them, that you cannot be in charge of this. Wow. That means that whatever I think I know about relationships, whatever I think I know about my life and my world, and who needs to hear this, I have to give up all clue of that and say, okay, God, you direct me. Spirit, you show me where to bestow. Now that's where the subtleties of mind training come in. Instead of trying to hold on to this configuration of an identity, it's like the Holy Spirit and Jesus are saying, no, I'll tell you where to bestow your miracles. In fact, I'll do it through you. You don't even have to have like a resume or, be an accomplished miracle worker. You just have to be willing to let me perform them through you. And where and when and the how will be given. So that's what the idea comes in, where it can seem powerful when you let the Spirit start to bring to you witnesses and your mighty companions, so to speak. It does feel much more powerful. It feels like you're sliding down, a greased pole instead of trying to climb up Mount Everest. It starts to turn, and it's simply because you're stepping back and following that workbook lesson. I will step back and let Him lead the way. That's what I discovered was the key. That way you don't get into these judgments about well, I don't know, they don't seem to be completely like-minded or joined with me in purpose, but I should be able to forgive them. I would go around the country and I would go to course groups, and I would hear this curious thing. People would come to me and they'd say, David, I'm in a terrible job. It's a terrible job. But the Course tells me that all I have to do is change my mind and my perception will be healed. And I say, okay. I come back a year later. David, I'm still in a terrible job. Nothing's changed. I'm in the same terrible job. But the Course tells me all I have to do is change my mind and I will be healed. And I come back the next year. I literally would go to these places 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row. The Holy Spirit was showing me, watch out for the ego. It can use Course terminology to maintain the status quo. I'm following the Course, and the Course tells me all I have to do is change my mind. But you see, and people will do this with relationships too. I'm in a terrible relationship, but I have to learn how to see with the Holy Spirit and and then you go back year after year, and it's like, are you listening to the Holy Spirit, or are you making like a metaphysical ghost out of this person? Are you turning this into like some kind of a cliche? The Course tells me all I have to do is change my mind. It's almost like this one of these little bobblehead dolls. The Course tells me all I have to do is change my mind. And it's like, are you feeling joy? Are you feeling inspiration, glee, happiness? If not, then you really, it is true that you do have to change your mind, but how do you change your mind except by following your heart, your prompts, your intuition, and following through on the guidance, and not just stuffing the guidance down and saying, the Course tells me I need to change my mind. When? When exactly do you plan to do it? That's the thing you have to look at. So it's a great thing you're onto, because you can feel the witnesses saying, okay, there's a great opportunity there, but you have to have the faith then to say, okay, Holy Spirit, you bring me the witnesses. You bring me my mind training partners and my mighty companions. Yeah. It's taken a lot of faith. That's a lot of what Suzanne, just that little thing we just talked, that's what you've had to go through. I think there was a picture that you would just change your mind somehow, someday, and you were just going to kind of sit by the river and wake up, and there was things that were unconscious that were just not allowed into awareness, and then
I really kept just in the trap of it's just an illusion, and so whatever would happen, it didn't matter what it was, I wouldn't deal with it. I thought I was forgiving it.
By calling it an illusion.
Yeah, and so I could get to this place of like neutrality, and I thought that was peace. But then I kept reading this stuff about joy and perfect happiness, and for 5 years it was like I just felt so incredibly stuck, but I would sit in that chair, that purple chair. Chris would always say, you need to go sit in the purple chair for a while, And I'd go sit there and I'd do deep meditations, but there was no healing. It was almost like managing, not healing. It was like not going completely insane, but just managing it to kind of a neutrality.
It's beautiful. We call it the metaphysical ghost, where these cliches and little catchphrases, it's all an illusion anyway. They don't really get you there. The ego can use these little cliches, these little Course in Miracles cliches, as part of a very deceptive scheme that seems, they talk about politically correct, it seems metaphysically correct, but it's not happy. I mean, there's something it's being used in a subversive kind of way.